Hey everyone. I wanted to get on today and reconnect with y'all. It's been a while, right? I wanted to come back on and talk to y'all. Let's talk. Let's have a family time. Those of you who look at these videos, that is just me talking to the camera. You know, we it's on a deeper level with us, right? And I wanted to unpack some things with y'all. I do. I want to unpack some recent things that I have experienced. So I'm gonna open the conversation up with stating that the highest choice that we can make, y'all, for ourselves and others is when we choose self love. The highest choice that we can make for ourselves and others is when we choose self love. And I know that it's kind of like, duh, of course, right? But it's levels to this stuff, y'all. It is levels to this stuff. And we gonna go into it. We gonna get into the juice. So I just wanted to say, so when we deny ourselves love, when we deny how we feel, y'all, uh, and when we do not acknowledge the most authentic parts of ourselves by ignoring our feelings, because our feelings are the language of the soul, not necessarily the emotions, but our feelings are the clue into what's going on. It's a clue. We have a guidance system, y'all. And so when we ignore our feelings because of conditioning, because of fear, because of gaslighting ourselves, which I'm going to get into, we do not make the highest choice for ourselves when we do that. And not only do we not make the highest choice for ourselves, but we don't make the highest choice for anyone else either. Because we are only able to love another unless and until we love ourselves. We are only able to love another unless and until we love ourselves. So I'm going to go into it. If we're in any relationship, y'all, whether it is a romantic relationship, whether it is a friendship, whether it is relationship with our family, whether it's relationship with our colleagues, right? Any engagement, any communication, any continued communication with someone or a group of people is a relationship, right? Um, choose the path in any of our relationships. Choose the path of self-love, y'all. Choose the path of self-love. Think of what would self-love do, and that's key. What would self-love do? And if you go based on what self-love would do, and you allow that to be your compass, I guarantee you it would lead you on the right path. Um, I guarantee you it would lead you on the right path, because what self-love does, y'all, is it gives us permission to honor our feelings. And the reason why I said think of self-love, many times if we are in a relationship, which is what I'm going to get into, that is not loving, that may be even kind of abusive, emotionally, physically, spiritually, whatever, Many times, if we decide, you know what, this is not serving me, either you decide to walk away or you decide to confront the person. A lot of times, the ego would tell us, well, don't do that to them. No, you're not doing anything to anyone. You are loving yourself. You are loving yourself, right? And if you love yourself, you will, I guarantee you will love another. It is the highest choice. So if you engage with someone, y'all, and you consistently, and the key word being consistently, if you consistently end up in a low vibration after you interact with this person, there is something there for you to investigate. There is something there for you to investigate. So, okay, I was building a friendship with somebody, y'all. This was a friendship in the spiritual community, y'all. And that's key. That's key to the experience. This person was in the spiritual community. And I found that many times while engaging with this person, uh, they would consistently throw jabs at me. Just randomly, insults or speaking down to me. And I would end up thinking like, why would she say that? Where did that come from? Like, that felt random. Like, why would did I hear right? Did I hear right? I would often have to replay what was said because my mind did not want to believe, y'all, what I was hearing. And I would discount my feelings. I would discount my feelings because I was so focused on this person being a very spiritual person in the spiritual space. And in my mind, people in the spiritual community don't insult each other. Of course, of course, people in the spiritual community insult each other, just like anybody, any other people, any other place do that. But I had this cognitive dissonance, y'all. I really did. Because I just, if you're engaging with somebody, you're assuming that you're dealing with people who are more evolved, more loving, right? Understand that we are all one, right? So what you do and say to another, you're doing and saying to yourself. And so that was the cognitive dissonance for me. That was why I was discounting my feelings and dismissing, y'all. I was dismissing my guidance system because our feelings is our guidance system. Like, okay, something's off track, something is in error, right? Instead of acknowledging that this person, for whatever reason, was not loving, I would discount my feelings and just really, ignore what I was seeing and hearing. So I would end up making excuses for this person's speech toward me, especially, they would say certain things to me in a group setting, and I was in this cycle of engaging with this person, even though her words were not loving. So I was struggling with this, y'all. I was really struggling with this because I realized that I was gaslighting myself. And that's a new term, and it could actually be overused right now. I don't know, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it meant. I later realized what that meant, but I honestly had not dealt with somebody in the spiritual space who claimed to be my friend, but would, hurl insults or talk down or whatever. So, y'all, what I ended up doing, or actually what ended up coming to me, because I was struggling with the concept, and I follow Tina Spalding. For those of us who know Tina Spalding, she channels Jesus. She is a Course in Miracles student. And someone in her community, someone asked, she was channeling Jesus, and someone asked Jesus a question about how to tell if something is fear-based. Because, of course, when I'm hearing these things, my first instinct was, okay, Loretta, what is this saying about you? Why is this being told to you? Why is this a trigger for you? Right. And so how I was gaslighting myself is I would go into myself and try to find blame within, almost, to understand why this person was saying these things to me. And I would get lost. I just would get lost in all of it. And so I needed clarity, and I needed to understand, is this person saying unloving things, or is it just that they're saying facts and it's hitting me in the wrong way, right? And so then I'm projecting onto her, and I'm saying that she's not loving, when in fact, she just speaking facts, right? So when somebody asked this question to Jesus, his answer gave me direction, y'all, which I needed. He said, you can tell when something is loving because you will experience the frequency of joy and peace and happiness. And you can tell when something is unloving because you have a guidance system that is in accord with love. And upon hearing or reading whatever it is you heard or read, if it is unloving, you will feel a dip in your vibration. And get this, there was a caveat to that. He said, you will feel a dip in your vibration if you believe it. If you believe it. And therein lies the gift, right? Therein lies the gift. So, for example, one of the things that she said, what you do, on your channel, it's not helping nobody. Y'all ain't doing any real work. You're not doing any real spiritual work. You're not helping anybody. So upon hearing that, I felt a dip in my vibration. And so there must have been a part of me that believed that, right? And that goes into my whole thing about self-worth. For those of you who follow my channel, I speak very candidly about my journey into spiritual awakening. And it was actually like, self-worth and those kind of things, honoring myself, and those kind of things. So again, there was deeper healing that I recognized that I needed to do in that area, right? Because there must have been a part of me that believed it when she said that, right? So, and so when my beliefs in a limiting statement was said to me and I was triggered, then it was time to unpack that belief. And it is critical, and we all know this, in the spiritual space, it is critical to unpack that belief, unpack it. Where did it come from? Where did it originate? How to heal it, right? That was the gift that she gave to me. So that was what I needed to work on, right? But then there's a second part to this equation that I have not heard very much in a spiritual community, y'all. I just hadn't heard this second part where then what do you do after that? You unpack your stuff. You get your gift from that interaction. But when do you acknowledge that the person who may be in your life, and again, if this is someone who consistently, you find that you are consistently in a low vibration when you engage with that person, they consistently say things that are harmful, or they consistently say low vibrational things to you, or they put you down, you know, what do you do with that, right? We focus on ourselves, which we should, right? Because we're all one, and nothing happens to us. It only happens for us. But we are also empowered, y'all. We are empowered to investigate when we are in a space where we're engaging with someone and their speech is not loving. Period. We're empowered to do that. So this was not a romantic relationship. It was a friendship, but we tend to be, what I've noticed is, so in romantic relationships, we are aware. The eyes are wide open, right? Because we know that a lot of times any kind of abuse may occur within a romantic relationship. But in a friendship, we tend to be more tolerant of harsh words from a friend than rather than a romantic relationship, and we take more than we would in a romantic relationship. And but the but we need to understand though that sometimes, y'all, sometimes an abusive person may show up as a friend. An abusive person may show up in a friendship, and you may have to come to a realization that this friend is unloving, right? So let me tell y'all, I had an incredible time, y'all, honoring how I felt. It was a challenge. I had an incredibly difficult time honoring how I felt while I was engaging with this person. And let me tell you why, y'all. Not only was this person in the spiritual space, y'all, in the spiritual community, but they had many spiritual and psychic abilities in the spiritual space. Many spiritual and psychic abilities in the spiritual space. So I'm going to use something random as an example because we're going to keep this high vibrational. This is not about pettiness. This is not about putting anybody on blast. This is not about anything. This is about experience, y'all, and wisdom. This is about experience and lessons. That's what this is about. And that is my intention for coming on today. So I'm going to use an example that is not even common and is not attached to any person. So for an example, so say that somebody in the spiritual space knows how to levitate spoons and make them bend without even touching them. So they can levitate 100 spoons and make them bend without even touching them. So they had these abilities, and I'm like, oh my God, you're making the spoons bend. Y'all know how. Y'all know how I am. I'm always, oh wow, you know. So because of that, because they had these abilities, I did not allow myself to believe that this person was just not for me. I didn't allow myself to believe that this person, for whatever reason, because whatever reason that is, that's for her to unpack. But for whatever reason, she would continuously say unloving things to me, not necessarily anybody else. Say if we were in a friend group, not necessarily anyone else in the group, but consistently directed toward me. And so, because she was talented in a spiritual space, I had this cognitive dissonance, y'all, and it kept me in the friendship for longer than it should have. Now, that is a judgmental statement. I say it kept me in the friendship longer than it should have, based on whose calculations, right? Because at the end of the day, however it took for me to learn the lesson, I eventually learned the lesson. So, but the cognitive dissonance was like a huge blind spot to me, y'all. So, because she had these abilities, and again, this is not about dualism. This is not about anybody being good or bad. This is not about higher or lower. This is not about any white or dark, black or dark, or, anything like that. This is about wisdom and discernment, and I'm going to explain why this is about wisdom and discernment. I later learned, y'all, this is juicy. I have a friend in a spiritual space, and she kind of knows when people have spiritual contracts. And she informed me, she said, Loretta, you had a spiritual contract with this person. And I was not surprised at all. I learned that she and I, this person who was speaking these unloving things to me, had a spiritual contract for her to play this role for me, because I tend to put people on a pedestal, or tend to see people, higher, and oh my God, that kind of thing. Anyway, uh I had a we entered into a contract for her to play this role for me, so that I can receive my gifts, y'all. And I'll tell y'all about the gifts that I received. And for me to play this role for her, so that she can receive her gifts, because of course she had things to learn as a result of this interaction. So let me tell y'all what I learned. Okay, so of course, I learned the whole self-worth thing. I learned, like, y'all, let me tell y'all something. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for this person. And I'm grateful that she was willing to play this role for me, because the lessons that I learned as a result of this engagement will be with me for the rest of my life. Okay. I learned to listen to my intuition, even if nobody else around is experiencing, because that wasn't for them. That experience was not for them. They didn't see what was going on. That was for me. So I learned to listen to my own intuition, my own feelings, to understand and know that my guidance system, y'all, just like everyone else's, is impeccable. We have an impeccable guidance system. And so if we're feeling afraid, if we're feeling sad, if we are feeling angry, then that is an indication that whatever we're believing, whatever we are hearing, whatever we are reading is in error. That's all it's saying. It's not saying that what we believe is true. It's not saying that what I heard was true. It was saying that my belief in it was in error. And it was saying that what was being told to me was in error. So I learned to honor and value my feelings, not try to dissect and overlay my feelings with all this mind stuff. Well, what did you do? What did you say before they said that? Or what did you listen? I heard this, it felt wrong, not only this time, but then the following week and the following week, and then I'm consistently feeling like this after engaging with this person. That there's truth behind that. There is something there. There is something there. So, what else I learned, y'all, and this is juicy. Listen to this, because I wish I had heard this. I feel like if I had have heard this, I would have been more prepared to deal with this situation. That's how I feel. I feel like if I had heard this, I would have been more prepared to deal with this situation. But what else I learned, y'all, that if a person is in the spiritual space, no matter how many spiritual abilities they have, if they have not love, y'all, then none of it matters. No matter how many spoons they can bend without touching them, no matter how many great acts they can do in a spiritual space, if they have not love, none of it matters. It reminds me of a scripture in the Bible that says, a person can have, and I'm paraphrasing, a person can have a voice, a singing voice of an angel, or can play a beautiful harp, but if they have not love, then it's like a clanging gong. And I don't know, I'm sure we've all heard of like a gong that's just like disturbing to hear and loud, and it's like the Bible says it's like a clanging gong. If it is without love, there's no inner man. Love is the magic, y'all. It really is. And sometimes we get caught up on the abilities, we get caught up on the great acts and the magic, and that person, might not even have love in their heart. And that's all that matters. So, okay, what also I also learned something else. I learned that there are people, and I'm today years old when I learned this. I know a lot of y'all are like, I can't believe we talking about this. Like, this is like, everybody knows this. This was new information for me, y'all. There are people, y'all, in the spiritual space that have wonderful spiritual abilities, who have had to develop these wonderful intuitional spiritual abilities because they have had to deal with traumatic experiences as a child. They have these psychic and spiritual abilities because they had to develop strong psychic intuition, and become psychically adept as a child. For example, if a child is dealing with a certain abuse growing up, they may, in order to survive and thrive in that situation, they may have to reach in to the energy of mom or dad or aunt or uncle, uh, to know when they were coming home before they actually got home, right? They may have to intuitionally, or if that's even a word, psychically have to reach into the energies of other people for safety reason to know, okay, mom, they're about to pull up. Let me go to sleep, or let me, get out of their way. Because people have had to deal with traumatic childhoods. We are all in different places, y'all. And that's why it's insanity to judge another person, because in a situation like that, that person's ego had to kick in order to deal with their lives, in order to manage their environment. And so they grew to become very adept at psychic abilities. But here is what we do. And here is what I did, y'all. We make the mistake of assuming that that person has Christ consciousness because they are psychically aware. We make the mistake, if someone has psychic abilities and are very adept at those psychic abilities, if they're not a novice, if they've been in that space for a while and they do it very easily, we make the mistake of assuming that they are evolved spiritually, that they are awake, that they have Christ consciousness. But that is an assumption that is in error. I'm keeping it 100, y'all. I'm keeping this all the way 100%. I'm keeping this all the way 100%. So you can have somebody who is very uh good at psychic abilities and spiritual abilities, and that person can be in their shadow energy. That person can be in their shadow energy. So I coupled the two together. I coupled psychic abilities with spiritual evolution, and I was in error with that. So if what a person speaks is intended to tear down instead of build up, if what a person speaks is intended to divide rather than unite, then that person in that moment, in that moment, is not in a loving energy. And it could be an energy with you and that person. They could be loving the other person, people, but not to you. But in that moment, it's not a loving energy. Um, so, I would often, after engaging with that person, I was just like, forget love. Does this person like me? Does she even like me? I was confused, y'all. And that's another clue. It's confusion. If you're confused all the time, if you're confused all the time after engaging with somebody, that's a clue, y'all. I'm telling you, that is a clue that their behavior is not consistent, right? So if you're having to ask, does this person like me, or what, if you're having to reflect, if you're not feeling that, like Jesus said, if you're not feeling that love and that peace and that joy, it's something there. Do not unpack your stuff. Absolutely investigate your stuff, investigate what's within you, because you are in having this experience for a reason. It is not for nothing, okay? And it is not just for that other person. There's something there for you. But I want to say this with conviction, y'all. Give yourself permission to honor your feelings. Give yourself permission to honor your feelings. Don't feel like you have to stay tied into an unloving relationship because you are in the spiritual space. Don't assume that you have to stay tied into this relationship because you need to unpack what there is for you to unpack. You can unpack your stuff, but you can also say, thank you, sis. Thanks, bro. Thank you. God bless. Thank you. But I'm good. Let me investigate this, but I'm good. So having gratitude for that person, having gratitude for that person, praying for that person while you are unpacking your stuff, but don't feel beholden to that friendship or that relate. And it can be a familiar, it could be a family member, it could be a coworker, it could be a friend, it could be a partner. Um, don't feel beholden because I haven't heard this, y'all. I'm sorry I hadn't heard this. So I did speak with this person. We talked, and she concluded that we were not on the same vibration. And I agreed. You're right. We're not on the same vibration. And so I'm not saying just walk away from a friendship, right? If find that, I don't know, why am I having to recover emotionally every time I talk to this person? Don't just, walk away. You can, you don't have to, but you can talk to that person, and maybe what you were feeling was absolutely legitimate. Maybe they were feeling something too. And so, y'all come to the conclusion, you know what, we're not on the same vibration. And you know what, don't add any other narratives to that. You're not in alignment, period. There is no higher or lower. There is no good or bad. There is no right or wrong. It's just vibration. We are energy, y'all. We are energy. We know that we're not these bodies. So it's important not to add any additional narratives over that. But this was a very rich experience for me, y'all. Like, I feel like this has opened up like another level of awakening for me. It's opened up another level of awakening for me. Uh yeah, it's like level of refinement. I feel like it's a level of refinement because I see God in everybody, y'all. We in a spiritual space, we see God in every guest I have on the show. When I read the closing remarks, I mean every word that I say. When I read those remarks that I have prepared with my guides, with their guides, I mean every word I say, and that's how I see that person. I see God in them, and that's how I will continue to engage and see, because that is the world that I live in, right? But I see how my guides have wanted me, have used this, how I use this as an opportunity, because I entered into this contract with her. I use this as an opportunity to be refined, to add to that vision of God, to add to that vision wisdom and discernment. Wisdom and discernment. So, to close this out, y'all, if you're engaging with someone who is consistently, the key word is, because we're human, we're going to say things that trigger one another. And most of the time, y'all, it's unintentional because we are carrying these bodies with these egos, right? But if you find yourself consistently all the time, after engaging or during engaging with that person, that you're, no matter how high you are, that vibration keeps dipping, there's something there. There's something there for you, and there's something there for that person. And honor yourself by unpacking what's for you, but also double back with that person and say, hey, what's up? I'm just finding that I'm having to recover from a lot of things that you say. Do you like me? Do you love me? Is it what's going on? Because y'all, let me tell y'all, with my friends, and I'm sure this is for y'all as well, especially in the spiritual community, I give my whole heart. And I don't choose to have friends that I have to feel like, oh, what are they gonna say next? And let me not say this. Is this person gonna throw it in my face? No, we're not doing that, y'all. Let's be authentic, y'all. Let's love one another up. Let's be authentic with one another, you know? And so if you're engaging with someone who is consistently talking down to you, and your feelings are the clue, and because at the end of the day, a loving friend would not consistently make disempowering statements to you. Whether you believe them or not is your work. But at the end of the day, a loving friend would not consistently make statements that are disempowering to you. There are nuances to this spiritual growth, y'all. I mean, your girl has been through it, y'all. Your girl has been through it. There are nuances to this evolvement. There's a level of refinement that comes with this ascension process. And so this is the sharing group. And for those of you all who have, listened to this video, thank you for being here. I want to tell you, every single comment that you make under the channel, I read them. And some of y'all, the comments that you make, like literally, I end up placing my hand over my heart, y'all. Like, I end up placing my hand over my heart. Some of the beautiful, amazing comments that you make. It really, it's just, it fuels me. It gives me energy. It's a reminder to me that actually people do, benefit from what I put out. And so what do y'all think? Has anyone experienced what I'm talking about? Have you gaslit yourself? Have you had a friendship or a relationship or any kind of engagement with anybody who where you just were denying your feelings, like, oh, they didn't mean it like that. Oh, you know what? You're just being too sensitive. That's a clue. If you ever tell yourself, I'm just being too sensitive, mm-mm, mm-mm. No, no. I'm telling you, no, you're not being too sensitive. Unpack what was said. Unpack what was said. Get your gift from it, the part of it that you believed, but then also investigate with that person why they said that. Do not do that. I'm telling y'all, it is It is one of the most damaging things that you can do to yourself, is to tell yourself you're being too sensitive. It's to deny and ignore you know what? It's almost like it's a betrayal of self. It's a betrayal of self. So me going back and speaking to that person, she was able to go back and unpack, why do I say these things to Loretta? Why did I make those statements? Why do I have this energy when I engage with her? What is it between that I feel when I'm around her? Why do I feel like this? What is she representing to me that is a trigger for me? And I was able to go back and unpack my stuff. So I'm gonna take it back to the opening statement when I said self-love is the highest choice, and that if you don't love yourself, you don't love another. Because if I would have continued to discount it myself, I would not have given myself an ability to receive the gift that that engagement had for me. And I would not have given her an opportunity to receive the gift that that engagement had for her. This is why judgment and duality is insanity. We are all climbing up the mountain, y'all. And our greatest avenue of growth is through relationship. That's how we grow. It is not everything has consciousness, but it's not through the inanimate objects around us that have consciousness. It is that other being who is carrying a body that we engage with, talk to, laugh with, fight with, that we grow. Y'all, that is how we grow. It's one of the main ways that we grow and evolve is through relationships. So how do y'all feel? What do you think? Is this old news and I'm the last person to learn this? Or did you all have situations that you were in like this? Let me know. You don't have to get too detailed, but definitely if you've been in a situation where you know what you were gaslighting yourself and you realize, you know what, let me stop doing this. Let me add two and two to make four. Let me stop discounting what I'm seeing and hearing. If y'all have had those situations, let me know. Put them in the comments. And I love y'all so very much. Thank you for hanging out with me. Again, those of you who look at these videos with just my face on it, where I'm talking to myself, but I'm talking to y'all. I really appreciate your presence, and I appreciate y'all being family. Look, this has been therapy time, okay? So, sending you the hearts as always. Recognize your beauty, recognize your courage, and love yourself, y'all. It's that this is the juice that we are made of, is love. It's the magic sauce. If anyone is thinking, why does this person always end up seem like they're winning? Why does that person always like on their game? Like, I know they got 50 million things going on and they still winning. Look at that person's level of love. Look at how much that person loves themselves and others. And I'm telling you, 10 times out of 10, that person, it's because of the level of love they've removed the blocks to love. We are all made of love. And if you have someone in your life who is doing this, pray for them, because that is a call for love. Their low vibrational speech is a call for love. Pray for them. Pray for them. And love yourself. Self-love. It's on a deeper level, y'all. It's on a deeper level. But I love y'all. I'm going to let y'all go. Talk to you later. Until next time, y'all. Love you. Love you. Bye.